This is it, people. This is what you've been waiting for. This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast. The podcast for everyday people with everyday problems, trying to find everyday solutions to accomplish everyday goals. Let's start the show. You. Welcome to another episode of Everyday Celebrity Podcast. This is your host, Jordan Owandi, the number one podcast in Oakland, number one podcast in the Bay Area.
Chill.
The number 3 podcast in London.
Chill.
Number 6 podcast in Dubai.
Woo!
Number 18 podcast in Australia.
Damn, we can just keep going. I got no more noises. Yeah.
All right, so the voices, the ad-libs you were hearing, it's not the Migos, but it is someone similar to that. We have the number 1 bartender in the Bay Area. He was voted number 1 bartender of 2017.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. It's okay if you made that up, because I have no idea.
He has worked in damn near every bar in Oakland. He also is an aspiring up-and-coming fashion designer and a musical artist.
Yes, sir.
We have Fu,
yes, sir.
a.k.a.
Black Daddy Slim.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I got a problem calling other niggas daddy.
We work together.
But yeah, welcome to the show.
Cheers, man. What's up, brother? Good to see you again out here.
How's your night going?
It's going good. You know, I'm blessed. Yeah, it's going good. How's yours?
It's good. It's good.
Good. I apologize once again for my tardiness.
Oh yeah, I mean,
has nothing to do with my skin color.
So, explain to me and to the people what got you into bartending.
It was happenstance. So I've been living in Oakland. Was going to be about to be 11 years, and I moved from Chicago, Illinois, the north side of Chicago. Because anyone that lives or comes from Chicago, they always ask you what side. So I'm gonna make it clear. I'm a north sider.
Is the north side is that the good side or the bad side?
They're all good sides. There's no bad side of Chicago, but
have you seen Shameless before?
No.
Oh, never mind. No.
Yeah. Nah. Chicago, the north side of Chicago, where I was on the Edgewater, is kind of seen as like the white side of things. But I mean, anyone that knows city life and all of that, like the actual street is cool, but go up another block or this way or that way, it's a different story. But the north side, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been back in 10 years. So
you were born and raised in Chicago?
Born and raised in Chicago.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my hood. Like I'm an all city dude. You know what I mean? Like I was everywhere. But I got into bartending just out of necessity.
Let's stay on Chicago. But,
all right.
So growing up in Chicago, what was it like for you?
I mean, I can't say it was like good or bad. It's just all I knew. It was my life. But Chicago is an amazing city. The architecture, the culture there is so rich. The history. I mean, Chicago is an old city, so it just made me who I am. I don't know. Like it's my home.
I mean, because Chicago's portrayed as in the media as like a violent ass city. Do you feel the same way?
You say as a violent city?
That's what it's portrayed to.
I mean, it is a violent city, but it's also an amazing, loving city. It's also a super cultural city. It's so much more than that. And when we talk about media, it's like it's media. So they're gonna take, if you're wearing red, they're gonna exploit red. You know what I mean? So media is media. But yeah, I mean, it's true. It is a violent city, but it's also all the other amazing things that it is, the people there are super strong. They're super honest. It's a Midwestern city. They're hard workers. the people there are just beautiful. I mean, I don't know where, I've kind of traveled around the world. I don't want to diss anywhere, but Chicago just has an exceptionally beautiful people, and it's just a mix of everyone, from white to black, Latino, Asian, and everyone has their hood. It's still one of the most segregated cities, I believe, at least in America. I don't know about the world and all that, but at least in America. But there is strength in that. Not that I'm promoting segregation or anything like that, but the strength in that is that you go to different people's hoods and you smell the culture, you feel the culture, you see the culture. It's like, it doesn't get tainted like it does in other cities or other countries or whatever. It's like, it's there. But at the same time, I just feel like there's certain areas in Chicago that are melting pots where everyone gets together and parties and everyone knows each other and there's love and there's what's the word, camaraderie or whatever, what I mean? There's all of that. So, I mean, I don't want to make this into like a super pro, what I'm saying, big up Chicago, even though it's my city and I love it, to death forever. But, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, yeah, there is violence there for sure. And we definitely need to work at solving that problem, and it's a mentality thing, and I mean that's just so much of a deeper, longer conversation. But like I said, there is everything else in that city as well. So I definitely do recommend it. I definitely recommend people traveling there and checking it out when we can travel again. But we've always been on the map. We've always been on a list. We're definitely one of those cities. My bad. That people come to from all around the world to check out and visit. So yeah, that's what's up.
So you said Chicago's full of beautiful people, right? So I'm giving an example like San Francisco. There's a whole shit ton of people, but most of the people in San Francisco are not even born and raised in San Francisco. It's just a whole bunch of people who migrated and are now living there. Is Chicago like that, or is Chicago full with like motherfuckers who grew up and were born there?
Yep. Chicago is full of a lot of natives. Of course, we have people from all around the world, which add to the beauty of it. But there are a ton of Chicago natives, born and raised, drink that water. You know what I'm saying? I've been drinking the water from Chicago. So yeah, it's strong. There's a lot of generations that are there, and the surrounding areas as well. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Did you when did you leave Chicago?
What was that, like 2010? So
you were an adult when you left?
Oh yeah, very much so.
Okay. And you left Chicago. What was the reason?
To be honest,
got a bitch pregnant, was running.
Nah, no. At the time, no one was pregnant. I left Chicago because it's a city, so it's moving. It's constantly it's hot, like it's doing its thing. It's vibrant. There's a lot of energy going through it, but at the same time, it's a Midwestern city, and I just felt stagnant. And I felt stagnant at the time in the mentality, at least from the people that were around me. And also, like, at the same time, my mother had died like a year from me moving from Chicago. And I think I was still grieving. I think I was running away because like everywhere I would turn, like me and my mother were really close. And she just exposed me to like so much culture, so much diversity within Chicago. So everywhere I would turn, it was just reminding me of her. I think consciously and subconsciously, I wanted to get away from that and kind of like build my own reality and build my own world. But at the same time, again, like I said, like I just felt like, everyone, I just always had these like super dreams and aspirations, as an artist. And, the people that were around me that I was talking to, and it was just like, they just weren't supporting me in the way that I thought that they should. And yeah, so I just felt like I needed to spread my wings and see the world and travel and live somewhere else that I wasn't comfortable, that I didn't know. I know every nook and cranny of Chi. And I just needed to leave. I needed to clear my head and leave and be free of what I knew. And so that's why I left. You know what I'm saying?
Where did you? So you left Chicago and went where?
I left Chicago and I moved to San Francisco. And I was there. I lived in Lower Hayes Valley was the first spot that I was living in.
Did you know anything about San Francisco before you moved there?
No, I knew nothing. So
why San Francisco? Like out of all places.
Yeah, I know. So when I was hanging out and I was telling people that I was thinking about leaving Chicago, I wanted to go to somewhere else that had culture. I wanted to go to somewhere else that was a city environment, that had art, that had music, you know, just all the frills that I was used to. You know what I'm saying? And so the more I just started, you know, just be out and talking to people, and they were like, the more people I talked to, they were like, San Francisco's the spot you need to go to. But I didn't do my research. I had a little bit of money. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't like, foolishly, I wasn't worried about it. But everyone was just like, San Francisco, San Francisco, San Francisco. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah, I'm finna go to I'm gonna go to SF. And also at the time, you know, I was really into magazines. Now, everything's digital now, but at the time, you know, 10, 11 years ago, they still had magazines. So it was Juxtaposed. And so I was like reading those magazines and so forth, and just like seeing like they had a culture out here, like LA, they had all the painters and all of that. So I was drawn. So I moved out here, and San Francisco is where I touched down. And then I never really had a computer growing up in the household. So I always felt a little bit behind, but I had caught me a little laptop, little MacBook Pro. And I thought it was a hot shit. Everyone already had one. And so I got on the Facebook, and you know, that was a thing back then. I think this was before Instagram. And so yeah, I was looking up everything, and yeah, ended up out here. And that was the deal.
So when you got out here, did you how was the housing situation? So you land in Chicago, right? Did you fly or drive?
I flew with my little, I had a little cat named Brooklyn, a little black cat with green eyes named Brooklyn.
You came out here with a cat. Yeah. Did you already have your housing planned out? Or?
Nah. So I was like rented out this hotel, this little motel out in Hayes Valley. And like I said, I was lightweight balling. I wasn't full on like balling, but I was lightweight balling. So I rented out this little spot. And so yeah, I was looking for spots. And I was quickly awakened to how much the shit costs out here. And and then I started going around to like different apartments, different houses and so forth. Yeah. And I was like, damn, y'all asking, like, this looked like a jail cell. Like the carpeting was like from the straight 60s, you know, the shag rug. And I was like, this is horrible. They were asking for like hella money. And I was like, you want me to pay this a month? You know what I'm saying? For this shit? There wasn't no window. It was like the window was in the kitchen, but like, you know, 20 feet up with bars on it. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't even see out, but you could hear all the crackheads and shit outside. So it was like apartment after apartment of that, you know, and I was just like, dang, okay. So I was warned once that like, oh yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but I didn't know. So that was the first thing. Finally got me a little spot out here in SF, but I was paying like hella much. And
it was your own spot, or you had a roommate?
It was my own spot.
Okay.
And so then I had a homeboy that I knew. I had two people that I knew. So that was my point for bringing up the whole Facebook and laptop thing. So I got on there, and so when you say like this is where you live now, where you're at, yeah. I guess it like alerted, you know, other people, so-and-so is, you know, in your area or whatever. So I hadn't spoken to Khalil or Cynthia in years. So I knew Cynthia from college, and I knew Khalil just like for forever. You know what I mean? Like I met him, I want to say it was at LitX in Chicago. So LitX was just like this is one of those spots that is, I don't know, how can I explain it? It's just, it was like a cultural mecca. that maybe some people know about, maybe others don't, but like it just changed things. Like I don't know. It's like it's so much. That's what I'm saying. It's so much history. It's like it'll take me hours to get into everything. But like I met him back in the day over there. So my mom would bring me out to these poetry readings, and it was a place called Lit X. And Khalil was one of the people that read there. And he lived in Rogers Park, which wasn't so far. We would call it North Pole out in Chicago, if anyone knows about that. So, so he lived over there. And if my memory serves me correct, I met him over there, and he was a poet over there amongst many. And we just became friends. Like he was a little bit older than me and got me into like reading and reading books and so forth. I was like a teenager, so like I didn't give a shit about anything. I was all about hip hop and this, that, and the other, but I was kind of like becoming, pro-black and interested in myself and all that, and then just getting aware. And he's one of the people that helped me like, feel confident and strong about being a person that came from education. He was the person that got me, interested in reading books and interested in just academia. And being proud of being a person of color, because if anyone knows, I don't know how the kids do now, but it's probably the same. But if you was a nerd in the hood or wherever, if you was a black person, you was a nerd, like people would shit on you. You know what I'm saying? They just like, you goofy, you a nerd. You know what I'm saying? You're not hip or whatever. So anyway, when that had dinged, Cynthia had reached out to me and was like, yo, I live in Oakland and Khalil lives out in Oakland. We're over here. And I was like, Oakland, what's that? And she was like, yo, MC Hammer? And I was like, yeah.
That's the reference they use?
That was the reference. She straight up was like MC Hammer, you know what I mean? So I was like, all right. So she was like, he's from Oakland, and we were like over the bridge or over the water or something, whatever she said. You have to take BART. And I was like, BART, what the hell is that? Because we talk about the L, we talk about the train. Where I come from, we didn't know BART. So it's like the BART. So anyway, she was like, it's cheaper out here, it's warmer, and there's black people. Because if y'all know about San Francisco, even like 10 years ago, there was like, it was a little bit of a culture shock. Like it was, it wasn't too many brothers and sisters out there, in certain sectors over there.
Still's not.
Yeah, it still isn't. It definitely isn't now. Less. Yeah, it's even less. Definitely isn't now. But like back in the day, you know what I'm saying? It was like you had to go to the San Francisco quote unquote hood. And let me tell you, San Francisco quote unquote hood, the projects in San Francisco. So let me tell you this. When I was looking for a cribs, I had told her, it was a coworker that had told that I was looking for cribs. And I think I had said an address or a place. And they were like, they told me to repeat it. And I was like, it's da-da-da-da. And they're like, yo, that's the projects. I was like, that's not the projects, whatever. Da-da-da. And then I guess it is. So I went back and looked at it and I looked it up and I was like, oh shit, it's a project. So the San Francisco projects are not the projects from Chicago. I was about to like try to apply to live in the projects because they was looking good. You know what I'm saying? Comparatively. But anyway, homegirl was like, move out to Oakland. You know what I'm saying? It's the soul out here. You're going to love it. And so I ended up moving out here. I stayed with like Khalil for like a month. He had this little loft in West Oakland. And that's another story. But
wait a minute. What was going on in this loft?
Let me tell you like this. It was told to me that it was a lot flyer and certain things was flyer than it was. But I ain't gonna shit on nobody. It was still a dope spot. It was a dope spot. You know what I mean? It was spacious, but we ain't gonna get into all of that because I ain't gonna tell everyone's business like that. But it was cool. So I ended up staying over there for like a month, and that was the beginning. Like I would chill with Cynthia, and she introduced me to Somar, and Somar, I think Somar had just opened up.
Cynthia was a bartender?
Nah, she was just a homie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I had known her from college, and she disappeared on me, you know, and she popped up. She was over here. And so when I had popped up, she was like, yo, let me take you around. So she was here and she put me up on, what's the other one that everyone goes to? Shoot, I ended up working there too. Mua. She took me to Mua. And, you know what I'm saying? Just like all around, just introduced me to people and so forth. I was begging Khalil. I will expose that. Like, Khalil just would not take me out. I don't know what was up with him. He was doing his own thing. But he wouldn't introduce me to nobody. I didn't know nobody out here. So anyway, that was the deal. So that's how I ended up in Cali. That's how I ended up in Oakland. And I've been here pretty much ever since. And that's the business.
Okay. So yeah, now we can get back to the bartender thing. Were you bartending in Chicago?
Nope.
No.
And in Chicago, I was strictly in the arts. I was doing music. I was like years ago. That's like years. I was part of this group called the Peanut Gallery. It's a little rap group called the Peanut Gallery. We're kind of like almost a wannabe Roots. Well, at first, I had met everybody in college, and it was started off. It's funny how I come back to Cali. So the little group was started off. The Peanut Gallery started off by this dude named Anacron, and he's an LA cat. And I met him in college, and I had my homies, and we were all like, you know, aspiring rappers as everybody else is. And he was just all about this independent thing. You know, back in the day, people were still getting, everyone wanted to get signed, you know, everyone wanted to get a deal. And he was like, fuck that shit. And he was like, let's be independent. And so we kind of chimed in on that. And he started this group called the Peanut Gallery, which I guess he had started out here in LA. And so he brought it over to Chicago.
How many people were in the group?
Shoot, it was Ron, Dinky, me, John, him. It first started off with us 6, and then it kind of grew. Then we kind of did like a band thing, and this dude named Matt Taylor was a drummer, and it just grew. It was other people too, and it was like then we had the homies that were like, you know, would just kick it. So they were like Peanut Gallery too or whatever, but you know what I mean? So that was that whole thing. And so, yeah. So that's what I was doing out in Chicago. I was doing that, and I went to school for fashion photography. So I started shooting out there and doing that whole thing.
What school did you go to?
Went to Columbia. And yeah.
Columbia University?
College.
Columbia College.
Yeah, Chicago.
Okay.
Yep. I know everybody thinks university. The university was cool. University's dope, but you know, the Chicago Columbia College, the art school is amazing as well. You know.
But so you were studying photography?
I originally went there for trying to be a sound engineer, and I failed miserably at it. I feel like I still have an ear for all of that, but I wasn't disciplined at the time. There was a lot of math involved, and I had a different idea of what I thought it was going to be. And one of the things that the teachers were like, the professor was like, if you think you're going to come here and become a sound engineer, but then you're going to blow up and be an artist, you got a different thing coming. And so that was totally my ambition. But if you want to be a sound engineer, you're going to be a sound engineer. And that's amazing. That's great. You know, that's kind of even better. You might have even like a longer, you have more longevity doing that than becoming a recording artist, at least at the time, you know, signing a deal and all that. But anyway, that was the deal. So that's what I was doing. That shit failed. And my mother was like, yo, you got to do something. And so I went to college early, and they had like these classes, and one of the classes that you could take was photography, and I just did that for fun, just to try it out because I didn't know anything about it, and I was still in high school, and I did well at it. And she was like, "Yo, you have talent in it. Why don't you get into that?" And so in the beginning, I was trying to be a documentary photographer. I wanted to like document things and just be out there and tell a story. But at the time I was a little bit more money hungry, and I was like, fuck the story. I was like, I gotta make some money with this shit. You know what I mean? Because at the time Puffy was popping, so I was like, I want to get a Bentley. You know what I mean? I can't get no Bentley like photographing homeless people telling a story. So I got into the whole fashion photography world, and it was dope, but it was weird because within that, I still was telling my story, and I quickly found out that there weren't people of color in the fashion world, and I hated it. And there weren't a lot of black or people of color photographers in the fashion world. And so I was just like, this sucks. And so I was like kind of really determined to be one of those people that, told our story through that. But anyway, long story short, that all didn't work out.
Why'd you stop?
Because I was starting to get jobs doing photography, but it wasn't, there were gigs. And I wanted to do what I wanted to do. I was young. I wanted to tell my story. But when you do a gig, it's like you got to tell that person's story, whoever's paying you. Yeah. You got to do what they want you to do. And there was a lot of like, I had to start writing up contracts and shit and all that. And I think I was just immature. I wasn't ready for the business side of things. I was talented. So I had a mentor, but I needed someone to really take me under. And I didn't have that. So I kind of just like said, fuck it. And then I got into designing, and I wanted to do clothes. So that's kind of what sparked it. When I was in school, we had so one of the courses was to mash up with designers. So they had, kids was doing the design shit. Yeah. And then it was a meshed up class. It was the photographers and the designers together in this one particular class. And that was that. It was an amazing class. And I know, a couple homies still from that class. But anyway, in it, I was hating on everyone designing. I was like, y'all are trash. Like I was seeing this shit that people were like making up. I was garbage. I was like, I could do that shit. And so it kind of sparked something in me. And so when I had like kind of dropped the photography thing, I was just like, because I've always loved fashion, and I just felt like it just told a story, and it does. And so I was like, I want to tell my story, do fashion, and I want to control it because, in the fashion industry, as you all know, urban, some people call urban. I say black folks, people of color, like we running that shit. We have long created the trends, and then the bigger companies kind of take that and sell it back to us. And so for me, when I was seeing all that, I was like, well, I want to be one of the people that like to sell back to myself, to sell to my own people and have us put the money back in myself and me put my money back into the community. So anyway, that was kind of my mentality at the time. So I started getting into designing clothes. And so I was like, I kind of had decided on doing a menswear underwear line. But then at the time, I was just like, well, dudes aren't like, what dudes are like talking about their underwear? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I was like,
I was about to say, niggas don't really give a shit. Yeah. Niggas wear underwear with holes in them for months.
For a hella, right? So it's like, it's real talk. So I was like, well, dang. I was like, I'm weird. So I like underwear. I like having some fresh pair of drawers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing your thing. And like, I had women comment, be like, oh shit, he got this on. You know what I mean? Ooh, all right. Like, what's up? So I was like, all right, cool. So I wanted to do that. But I was like, man, it's going to be difficult trying to promote that and get that out there because niggas don't care. So I was like, well, let me do a women's lingerie line, and I felt like I could be more creative too. So that was the deal. I started that, and I met this woman named Anna Fong. And I can't even remember how I met her. I want to say she went to Columbia College, but I don't know. She might not have. So don't quote me on that. But I can't remember. It's just like Chicago shit. Like I knew everybody. She knew the homies, whatever. And she kind of let me get under her wing a little bit, and I was like so grateful. And because of her, like she hella like put me on game to like how everything works. Cause again, I'm young and I'm thinking like, yo, I'm finna just get this little idea. It's finna be popping. We finna make mills. And so she just like really broke it down to me, like, how the money works, what you have to invest in yourself personally, put me on like,
So she was already established and shit?
She was establishing herself at the time. And like right when I had left Chicago, I think she had just got a deal where she had gotten into like Bloomingdale's or something with her line. So she just kind of was like blowing up or whatever, doing her thing. But around that time, my mother had got sick. And so like I kind of dropped everything because my mother was like, she had terminal cancer. She had lung cancer. And so she had got diagnosed like earlier, but like she was like, I'm going to go in for like surgery, and then they cut it out or whatever. So it was all good. My mother was like really strong. So it wasn't like a thing that like I sweated. And like I didn't even at the time sweat it because I was like, nothing's going to take her out. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, you do the surgery, you good. But it had come back and she didn't really say anything to me. And the doctor had called up and asked to speak to me. And she told me, and she was like, yo, your mother's not really putting you on. This is what's up. You know what I mean? Like she got months. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh shit. And so it was like, right. It was a fucked up timing because like I really was like, I had met Anna. She put me on a game and I really like kind of felt like I found like my calling, how I wanted to do my life. I was really into it. And yeah, that was a deal. Like I was going to go for it. But my mom had got sick and, like I spent pretty much the next months just like taking care of her until she died. And I dropped everything. And then I was in Chicago for like a year more, just like being reckless. You know what I mean? Just not handling my business. And
where was your dad at this time?
My dad passed. My dad has been dead since I was 16. So yeah, that was that. So I lost my dad, lost my father figure years ago.
You're the only child?
Only child. I have half brothers. I have 3 half brothers and 1 half sister. So I have the eldest half brother, Olu, and after him is Io, Rick, and then after him the youngest is Alaribo, Peter, and then my sister, Adaidenla, Adami, who like I haven't seen her in years. Like she just like abandoned me. She abandoned the family. She just stopped speaking to me. I never really knew why. I was a kid. That shit was crazy. She took me. Last time I saw my sister, that's some crazy shit. Last time I saw my sister, it was when if anyone knows about movies, the He-Man movie came out. So trying to date myself. It was just like this He-Man movie. She took me out and I was so like happy to like chill with my sister, and she was just like super smart, just beautiful. Like I just like idolized her, you know what I'm saying? Like my dad was just like, she's the shit. And my mom was like, she's the shit. And so like, I just like idolized my sister. And I was so proud to have like a sister, you know what I mean? So we went out, we kicked it, and we came back. And when we came back, it was like mad, like, sirens and just like police and everything. So I grew up, like, again, I was on the north side. So I was in the condos over there. So some fool had jumped out the window, like from the 55th floor or whatever, and landed in like a little flower bed thing in front of the building. It was kind of the side, but like one of the entrances of the building. And so we came back to that shit and we went upstairs. And, we was chilling with my mom and whatever. And like, we said our goodbyes and she left. And that was the last time I saw my sister,
Damn.
And, yeah, it was all fucked up.
So you don't even know if she's alive, nigga?
I think she is. I'm pretty sure she is. I think she is. So right when I moved out to Cali, I called her up. So when I got my first crib, I was living in North Oakland, and I hit her up and I was like, hey, I called her mom. We have different mothers, of course, half sister. So I called her up and I was like, hey, just let you know, like, not that you give a fuck. I didn't tell her like, you give a fuck, but I was like, not that you give a fuck. You know, I live out in Cali now. I'm in Oakland, so you know. Whatever. It's just like calling that woman up. It's always been like, she's always like been kind of like it's weird. Like she never let me speak to her. It was something, I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? I have an idea, but I don't know. But I never, if I ever walk past this woman today, I wouldn't know what she looks like. But I always like, wanted to like know my sister. You know what I'm saying? I don't know her. So it was kind of like, I just don't understand, like, that's one of my childhood things, but I don't understand. Like she didn't fuck with me ever since that day. You know, it was the last time. It's weird. I think her mother hates me. You know what I mean? I think her mother hates me. I think like maybe my dad cheated on, cause he was married. You know what I mean? So my eldest brother and my eldest sister, my dad was married to their mother. So I feel like he cheated on her with my mother, you know, whatever. And I'm here. So I think like that lady hates me for the rest of my life and shitted on me to my sister. You know what I mean? So anyway,
I can see that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I don't know. No one told me nothing. You know what I mean? This is one of those things.
I agree with that assumption.
Right? You know what I mean? So that's just, but who knows? Who knows? It's just like, I think that, but it's probably, who knows? She might be crazy and saw me eating ice cream and didn't like vanilla. Don't fuck with me. So I don't know.
All right. So you're in Oakland and your homegirl's taking you around to all the shit, right?
Everything, all that.
Do you think
there's no industry out here? There's no industry. There's no photography. There's no nothing. I got a little money. I pay for my crib like a year in advance. So I'm there for a year. I'm chilling. I'm partying. Again, I'm on some bullshit. I'm not taking care of business like I should be. Finding like a proper gig. I just get like some little gig out in Berkeley working for Adidas. But it's not real. It's not real money. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I don't really know what to do with myself. And so anyway, after that, I forget, like I moved in to this one crib, this one house with a homie. She was a friend of a friend. That's another story, but it was cheaper than what I was doing. And I needed a gig. And so I was DJing a little bit. I was collecting records. And I love music, of course, and I was collecting records, and so I started DJing at Muwa I think it was on every Sunday. Super chill, super slow. I was just doing my thing. I was playing the cuts, you know what I mean? Straight Chicago shit. Like, I don't feel like people in Oakland really, I'm not saying that they don't know music and they don't know nothing, but I'm just saying like I was just coming with a different flavor and people were feeling it, you know what I'm saying? And so people were like, oh shit, yeah, we like it. So people were coming through. Too Short came, a few times. So I was like, oh shit, fucking Too Short. You know what I mean? So that was a deal. And so like, was taught, I know better. And so there would be situations where like people would, like a woman would drop a napkin and I'd walk over and pick it up and, be like, oh, you dropped a napkin, or a jacket would fall, just courteous, regular things like that. I see a woman, trying to take her jacket off, the dude sitting there, whatever else. I walk over and like help her with, just shit like that. So the bosses saw it. And so, there was a bar back that was working there. I guess he was going out of town for like a week or two or whatever. So they approached me. It was like, yo, you pay attention to details, whatever. Do you mind if would you like to bar back, for a week or whatever, or two or whatever? The dude's gone. You know what I mean? For like a little gig. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like I don't got no job. You know what I'm saying? This is all I'm doing. Yeah. So that's what I did. And like, it worked out. They liked me. And, so that's how I got kind of into the industry. You know what I'm saying? Too Short bought me my first Fernet drink. So all the anybody who bartends and all that knows about Fernet, at least out here. That was a drink for me. I can't stand for that. I can't drink that shit anymore. But anyway, that's how I got into it. And I began as a bar back. And then I started working at the Layover. And
that's my spot.
Yeah, started working there. Yeah, so that spot was popping for a minute. And so I guess before I came, they were around for a year. But right when I started working for them, everyone started to like figure it out. And yeah, that was a spot. So I was bar backing over there, and I was like, yo, make me a bartender. Cause I was like, wasn't no money in bar backing. I was like straight being a dog, but they weren't feeling it. They weren't letting me do it. So I was like, all right. Cause I had no experience bartending, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, I could pour a drink, I can pour liquid in liquid, you know what I'm saying, in a cup. But they was just like, oh no, you don't know, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They was hating on the brother, you know what I'm saying? So that's another story. But you know how it is. So then they had split. It was like two sets of married people, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was like Zach and Rayanne, and it was Tim and Christy. Mm-hmm. So whatever, how business goes, they fell out. So Zach and Rayanne, Zach was like, I want to open up my own bar. So then he opened up, what's the spot over there down the street?
From the Layover?
Yeah, on Telegraph. Next to the beer garden. What's that spot called? Legionnaire. Oh, yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, so Zach opened up Legionnaire. That's another story. But I'll get it to you. I got so many stories. But anyway, to make it quick, so
wait, what story is it? A story about him opening it, or
like how happened? He found yeah. That's for another time. That's for another time. But I'll tell you like this: Zach's an interesting. He's a funny dude. It's funny. So anyway, like we was chilling. So there was an in between time. Mm-hmm. It's like a year or whatever. So like Zach does music, he does hip hop and shit. So I was like, I want to record a record. So he was like, I was trying to work with him and do beats and all this type of shit and whatever. So we were going over there, and I was like, yo, dude, what we now call the Legionnaire. I was like, that spot is open. I was like, you should check that spot out. Homeboy is like renting it out or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he hated him. He was like, fuck that shit. I don't want to be over there. Woo. So I was like, all right, dude. I was like, I think like it'll pop, like whatever. So he hated it on it. And anyone that knows, and I say this lovingly, anyone that knows Zach, he kind of be hating on shit right away when you tell him. But check this out. It was months later. This fool was like, yo, fool. He's like, I think I found this spot. I was like, oh, for real? What, what'd you come up on? He's like, I found this place on Telegraph. And it was what we now call a Legionnaire. And I was like, bruh, that's the spot I told you about. Like, what the fuck? So anyway.
What was it before the Legionnaire?
I can't remember. It was another spot before that. But yeah, I don't remember. It was that was like, it was like maybe the first year that I had moved out here. And it shut down like kind of soon after that. And then it was just vacant for a minute. And so, yeah, that was a deal. So
he still owns it?
I think he sold it. I think that, I don't know what I should be saying. Well, fuck it. But Nujik owns it now. So him and this other dude, damn, I don't want to say too much, you know what I'm saying?
What, these niggas doing illegal shit or something?
No, they ain't doing nothing illegal, but you know what I'm saying? I don't be telling all Oakland business, but so one of the dudes, for those who know. So one of the dudes that was a chef or a partner, I don't know, was kind of a partner at Muwa years ago. He kind of does his thing. And so I think he's like one of the owners or silent owners over there as well. So those who know that's what it is. But yeah, so they got that spot. So they're running that now. Big up to them. Hopefully, we're in the midst of COVID right now, so hopefully they can do their thing and make their money and keep it going. Like Legionnaire, like all these spots are like, I've just been blessed. I've been lucky to like work in like these dope places because they've been like kind of significant within the cultural growth of Oakland and of the Bay Area. You know what I'm saying? Because there weren't a lot of it. So when I was working at Muwa, You know what I'm saying? Like people came from what now I didn't know where they were coming from before. They'd be like, I'm from Hercules. I was like, I don't know where the fuck that is, but okay.
Yeah.
But now I know, you know what I'm saying? And it's like people were coming from all over Sacramento and like all these spots to come to Mua because we had soul, like because we had black bartenders, we had Asian bartenders, we had white bartenders, we had motherfuckers from wherever, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Europe, like straight up Europeans, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like diverse and it was cool. And like we were playing hip hop and soul. And it's like, I don't think it was like at the time a thing in Oakland. Like from my understanding, you know what I'm saying? Like this was a hip spot and we were like really doing it and it represented who they saw. The staff was culturally representative of who was coming. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. At the time. And that transferred over as well as a layover. And that transferred within Legionnaire, which I was a manager of for a short time after Dave Medina was managing it first. And so that was his spot, and he really held it down and taught me a lot. He taught me a lot. Zach taught me a lot as far as bartending and all of that. And so that's that. But I don't want to say their names too much on that because I might suck as a bartender. So I don't want to say that they made me because, you know, it's whatever. Yeah, I mean, but I did learn a lot from them.
You do make some watery whiskey sours, nigga. I'm joking.
Y'all motherfuckers be getting drunk on my shit. I already know the business.
All right, so you're working all these places. What is the best place that you ever worked at, and what's the worst place?
Wow. I don't really want to diss. I want to say the worst. I will say the best place that I've worked at in Oakland. There's two. The main one was Oeste, which it's COVID, so it's like ain't nobody got no job right now. So I think I kind of sort of still work there. I think I still have a job, but for the moment I don't. But that was like amazing. Like that's my spot. Like the 10 years.
That place is nice.
Yeah, the 10 years that I've lived out here, that's been so amazing. Just because I love being a man who grew up.
Way too crowded though. I was just saying.
At times it gets crowded for sure, but I mean, fuck it, dog. If it's popping, it's popping, you know, and people come through, and that's what it is. If it was dead, you wouldn't come. So you know what I mean? That's how it is. But being a man who grew up in a single parent household, being brought up by my mother, I love working under women. And Oeste is it's three women that own it. It's Leia. I ain't gonna say nobody's names. I don't know what I should say and shouldn't say out here. But you know what I mean? Like, but for those who know, you can look it up. Oeste, Oeste in Oakland. Look that up and look up the history.
3 African women?
Yeah. 3 women of color. And they're all amazing people just as individuals and business owners. And they're hella honest and hella real and have such an amazing vision. Like when you step in, see, it's one of those places I look at it like this. And just like when I go out, you know, I look at it like this. My first thing is the bathrooms. If you have shitty bathrooms, I don't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? The bathrooms are always on point. They're very clean. But it's also the atmosphere. And it's like, they are what I would want to do if I open up a lounge. And it's like, the spot is like, it's pristine. It's tight. It looks like upper class, right? Cause it is. The quality of like the bar, the quality of chairs, the quality of the floor, the ceiling, everything is just quality. But when you walk in, you don't feel like, oh, I'm in a place that's too much for me. It just feels like home, if that makes any kind of sense. And I think the staff represents that as well. And people like Michael Tran, that I've been honored to work with, is like an amazing bartender. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's hella chill. Like he's a San Francisco dude, he's a Bay Area dude. You know what I'm saying? But like he knows what the fuck he's doing. So I'm like sitting there learning from this fool every day. You know what I mean? So for me, like this is like it's just school, but I love it. And I love the people that come through. I mean, I stepped up my clothing game. Like I started getting stuff out of storage, like to rock to wear there just because like people that come through are just beautiful. And it reminded me of Chicago. Like people dress up. Like the Bay Area is just like kind of super chill. Like you come in some sweatpants or whatever, you know, you don't have to be looking amazing, but that's the difference. Like back home in Chicago, like to go to like Dominic's, which is like Safeway out here, like you had better have a fit. Like even if you're just in your sweats, like if you have a Nike fit on, it has to be all Nike. You can't be wearing a Nike hoodie, Nike sweatpants, and have Adidas shoes on. You're gonna be looked at crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people out here when they come, you know, to a West State, it's like kind of mua again. Like people like dress up, like they're cognizant of what they're doing and how they hold themselves, and it's just like people of color that are just like. That are aware of themselves, that are conscious, that are intelligent, that have money, that are like own their own businesses, that come to network. It's just a beautiful place, you know what I mean? And it's like it's the extremes. You could be a hood dude. You know, we have our dealers. I'm not saying anyone's doing that there, but I'm saying like you have that to like we got cops that come through, and we got lawyers that come through, and we got you know, people that work at the post office that come through. It's just an eclectic situation, which is life. And I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's like when we, in the midst of like what we're going through today in America, it's like that place there, West State, represents what we want. It represents being a white woman coming to a spot where it's like people of color and she's hella chill. She don't feel threatened or nothing. It's a spot where people who don't have a lot of money can come through and still be able to afford a meal, afford, you know, a drink and chill and hang out and have a good time and listen to music and fraternize and chill and have a good time. It's just a beautiful melting pot. So for me, a West Day has like been the best job and one of the best life experiences for me in Oakland thus far.
How long were you working there?
I've been there for like 2 years now. Yeah, for about 2 years. And it's been cool.
Is the West State a place where you were working at when all this COVID shit happened?
Absolutely, yeah. It was literally March. My birthday is March 15th. And I think that was the last day that I worked. And then March 16th, was the last day that everything was open and everything shut down after that. My mother's birthday is March 13th. Yeah. So yeah, that was a deal. That was the last spot that I was working at before everything shut down.
What's the worst? What's the worst spot?
You know what? I'm not even gonna say. I'm not gonna say the worst spot. But the job before that one, it wasn't. See, I don't believe in the worst. I just believe that it was a challenging time in my life. And it was a challenging job, you know. So 2016, I became homeless in Oakland and we were all evicted. I was living in Ghost Town and all these things happened. Like just mad drama happened at Legionnaire. I was accused of things. You know, I don't know how much time y'all got. So it's like, you know, just like a lot of things happened. So my life just like fell apart in every kind of way. Like I had people that died, family members, homies, like Timbuktu, which was a dear friend of mine from Chicago. Like I knew him when he was literally a kid. We were all kids. I was in high school. He was younger. You know, he passed away. I didn't know about it. And like, this was one of those situations, like at the time I couldn't afford to like fly back to Chicago to his funeral. I didn't know about it. I didn't know he was sick. I had like homies that were like close, but no one told me. And I was just like, it was horrible. Like all these things were happening to me. So I picked up this gig because it was the only thing I can get because I was ostracized or I was like kind of kicked out of the industry at the time. Someone carrying me, basically. You know what I mean? I was Karen. What they now call is Karen. You know what I mean? I was Karen, but like everyone like me too'd me, carrying me. But it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
Wait a minute. What were you being accused of?
We ain't gonna get to that. We don't get.
Was it sexual harassment?
Absolutely.
That was it.
Yeah. Okay. But it was a rant. Like I said, like I don't want to get all the way into it because it's like it's gonna be a long ass conversation.
By multiple women?
No, it was by one, and every woman that they talked to after was like did not back up that that's my steez and all that, and which is why I've been able to survive and do my thing. Like it just wasn't that situation. Again, like yeah, we can get into it, but if we want to talk about that, we talk about that as that topic. That's that. But all these things were happening to me at the time. I got evicted, like all this shit. You know what I'm saying? So my life had totally fell apart, and I was just dealing with a lot of shit. And so I had this gig. It wasn't paying shit. It was a new business. They didn't know what they was doing. They didn't want to listen to anyone who was like a vet in the industry. And so yeah, that was that. But it was an amazing job. That's why I never say anything is horrible, because it was an amazing job that taught me what I don't want to do, what I don't want to be stuck in. And it just gave me that drive. And so then when I got the gig at Oeste, it just kind of saved me, you know what I'm saying? And it gave me the confidence, seeing these women who did what they're doing, it gave me the confidence to pick up and pursue my own personal business and pursue my clothing line again, pursue my music career and do things that I love and do things that I feel like I'm put on this earth to do, and gave me the strength, really, working at this gig, all the bullshit that we put up with on San Pablo, dealing with all the crackheads and shit. You know what I mean? It just gave me the strength to be like, all right, you're going to be hit with different things in your life. You're going to be hit with the worst.
Yeah.
How are you going to get up from that? How are you going to handle that? How are you going to address that? You know, and how is your character, you as a person, going to stand? And I was blessed. Like I had so many homies just like stand by me and, you know, have my back through a lot of things. And yeah, that was the deal. So it wasn't a worse job, but it was more amazing than my best job, because it gave me the strength, like I said, and the knowledge of telling me what I don't want. And sometimes you need to be hit on your ass and you need to fall all the way down in your life to get to the top, you know? And so that's what that was.
So explain to me your clothing line. What's the name of it?
It's called a Carole Boutique. And I just talk to you from the heart. Like I won't, read you the whole, our mission statement and all that. Basically, from the get, I've always wanted to bring awareness to the world, whether it be happiness from those who people think is not happy, or to just bring awareness, be a voice of the voiceless. And I figured out a way to make my clothing line speak on these subject matters. So during COVID, I already had like, I had like my little Etsy, a Carole Boutique on Etsy, AKERELE Boutique. And I had like a little Black Daddy Slim t-shirts and hoodies and all this kind of stuff. And, that's related to my music. But I was like doing nothing. I was bored. And so I would just go out late night. I get on my skateboard or drive around, and I started shooting again, surprisingly enough, because I put down the camera for hella years. The last pictures I took were of my mother when she was dying. And she was like, we had hospice and all that. And I took pictures of when she was sick and all that. I didn't pick up the physical camera since then. I didn't shoot for shit. And I started shooting again. Because like lately, these last like 3 years, I've been feeling like I want to speak through the camera, but I didn't know what I wanted to say. So I just started shooting around Oakland hella late. And I just started shooting. I used to shoot people. I used to photograph people. But now I just started shooting structures and so forth. And so I came across, I think it's on Grand, I forget the intersecting street, but the street right before San Pablo is like a homeless encampment over there under the viaduct. And I started photographing over there, and I shot this one photograph, and it was just like a mess. It just had like mad shit all over the sidewalk, and it just looked crazy. And I photographed that, and it just spoke to me. And I was coming back that very same night. I was walking back, and someone had left a shopping cart in the middle of the street. And I photographed that at all these different angles. And the next morning, I woke up and I was just looking through everything. And I was like, dang, these things really spoke to me. And I took one of the photographs, which was the one under the viaduct of the homeless encampment, and I wrote under it mansion. And that became the idea for my t-shirts and my hoodies and all that. And I did that because I want to just explain that there's no more middle class. You know what I mean? There's just rich and there's poor. And I want to speak on that. And the same thing with the shopping cart. Under that, I wrote, keep pushing. And that is like, it's a loaded statement. I saw it as, kind of satirical. Like when we think of a homeless person, we think of a homeless person pushing a shopping cart and all that, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was satirical. Like, yeah, keep pushing, motherfucker. Like, keep going, keep pushing, But a friend of mine, Smokey, who's from Chicago, who lives out here now, she saw it and she was just like, I look at that as talking about like when you're in the grocery store, the people who have the shopping cart are the kids who have more money and they can fill that motherfucker up. And the people who just have the little, basket, are the kids with like, they just getting what they dire need to like survive. You know what I'm saying? If we gonna get through the week through this shit, this is what we can afford, this is what we can get. And I was like, oh dang, that's like a perspective too. And I was like, you're right. And so when that happened, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a line. Like I'm gonna start doing t-shirts. I'm gonna start, putting these phrases under this and just not letting that be social commentary. And so that's the deal. And so I started taking my photographs and putting words under it and letting society look at it and decipher what they want to feel from it. But there are some obvious, conversations that come from it. Yeah. So that's how that jumped off. But I also, have this other, it's not another line. It's still under a Kerala boutique. But I met this woman at a West Day. She was like a coworker, and her style was just like super fly. You know what I mean? This woman named Lori May, and I was like, dang, I dig what she does. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it inspired me for a second, but I didn't do shit for a minute. I made songs about her. I got an album about her. And like the first song actually I made, I told her I was gonna make the song. She got mad at me. She hated me. I was like, yo, I sent you the song. And she was like, it was difficult to listen to. So
what the fuck was you saying in the song?
It was innocent. It was a beautiful song.
And you wanted to get with her and shit?
You know what? At the time, no, it wasn't like about getting with her. It was just about seeing this person and just being in admiration. You know what I'm saying? Being like, damn, that's a fly ass person. Mm. And I wanted to express myself. You know what I mean? I do music, so I wrote her a song. Yeah. It just came out. That's what it was. Mm. You know what I'm saying? I had talked to her and I was like, yo, I do music. She's like, oh, I like to hear it sometimes. Send me some shit. And I did, and she was just like, it did not go well. It was horrible.
Did that ruin your guys' relationship?
For the moment, yeah, it did. She hated me. She was mad, and then
you got the song on your phone. Let's play it, nigga.
Yeah, well, the phone's over there.
I'm joking.
And y'all can go on Spotify or Tidal or YouTube and look up all my little records under blackdaddyslim.com. I got .com too. blackdaddyslim.com or blackdaddyslim. It's all on there. It's on Spotify and all that. But anyway, my point was this. As far as the clothing line is concerned, Same girl, same woman. I was just like inspired. And so it's like months later. It's like during like COVID even. And like, I guess she knew another friend of mine named Patience who used to bartend at Somar years ago, still in industry, still bartending. And so they were talking, and I guess I got tagged in or just saw it or whatever. But Patience was telling her I used to do a lingerie line, which is what I was doing when I first moved out here. So I was like, dang, I got just, when I was reading their conversation, I just got re-inspired. And I was thinking of Homegirl, and I was like, she would look fly in this. And so I got sparked. And so that's this new line that's going to come out. I don't think it's going to be under like an Etsy type of thing, which is my point. I'm sorry, I'm long-winded. But like, but yeah, so like that particular line under a Carolee boutique is going to be called Lori May, and that's just going to be dope. And I'm going to have some punk rock influences, some African influences, because I'm Nigerian and we always got to rep that forever. And yeah, I'm just super excited about that.
But it's all lingerie.
No, it's not lingerie. It's nothing to do with lingerie, actually. So I did a skirt, which is being made now. I did a top. And so the skirt has like on the inside of it has like a cheetah print, and all right, so I don't want to get too deep into it.
Yeah.
But I'm always deep into culture and expressing to society the lines of culture. So for instance, when I was growing up, I was a skateboarder. So I lived on the north side of Chicago. So everyone was like, oh, you're a white boy. I'm like, well, no, I'm very black. I'm African. And so, but people would hate on it. They would hate on it. They would hate on the fact that I was a skateboarder. They would hate on like I was into tennis. They would hate on like all these things that I was into. And I was like, but black people do this. And they were like, nah, you just got to wear Jordans and play basketball. And it was like, it sounds hella like ignorant or like whatever, racist, but real talk, this is a conversation that happens within our own community. So for the longest of time, I've been like an advocate of like trying to like break down these barriers, break down these walls. And like, yeah, people like Serena Williams and her sister and, you know, all these people are like, you know, breaking down those walls slowly. But I was like, I want to do it on the fashion level. So this particular skirt that I designed in the Lori May line is a tennis skirt. You know what I'm saying? But it has like attached to music, because I love music. There's like the punk aspect of it, like what is associated mentally with punk, the look and all that. But I want to create, you know, these pieces that are attached to things that they don't think that people of color are attached to, or that we should even be belonging to. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be honest, like black people couldn't play tennis. We weren't allowed on the golf clubs. We weren't allowed because they were memberships and so forth. We couldn't do any of those type of things. So it's just like, I'm about designing golf pants. I'm about designing golf shirts, like all these type of things, you know what I'm saying? And putting our images and doing like little commercials and so forth where we're doing that, you know what I'm saying? And letting that be the norm of like, yeah, we do this, but we also do this too. We do everything. You know what I'm saying? Like letting that be in the boardroom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm just like about using fashion to break down these like stigmas. And so that I do the same thing in my music as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I always like try to talk about having an LLC, talk about owning property, talking about owning businesses and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the conversation needs to be about. It's like, yeah, we could talk all day about, you know, Chicago and people being shot and the violence of it. But there's also the other. You know what I mean? And so when we big up, because the percentage of like people that actually sell drugs within the black community is less than the percentage that makes up the black community. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so small, but yet that's the thing that's like emphasized. And so we all know the reason why. And for those who don't know, don't know. For those who do, do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think that we need to emphasize within our music. We need to emphasize within our clothes. We need to emphasize with us walking down the street, in every aspect that we do. We need to emphasize the other of how amazing we are. You know what I'm saying?
How do you feel about niggas who worship all these high-end European brands when these high-end European brands don't even want you niggas in their clothes? How do you feel about that?
For me, it's not about a feeling. I understand what it is. I mean, most of us, if you grew up in America, grew up wanting it. I grew up wanting Jabos. I grew up wanting Polo. You know, I grew up wanting all those type of things. You know, I grew up wanting one Lamborghini, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. I wouldn't say like it's our fault, and I feel a kind of way about it. But my mission is to educate people to supporting themselves, reading about your own culture, reading about your own look, reading about and looking up what the design of Africa, of who we are, and reading up about business, reading about it's infinite, you know. Like for instance, let me break down like this. One of the things that we were asked in school and in college, I was sitting in class, and I'm so happy that this teacher asked us. He looked at me for sure, but he asked the whole class this. He was like, "What's the reason why there aren't a lot of black models and or supermodels, and why don't they grace the cover of Vogue or a lot of these all these magazines, Cosmopolitan, Vogue? I mean, there's tons of them at the time. You know what I'm saying?" We got deep. I was like, "Oh shit, let me tell you." So we all know the reasons for that, because it's white supremacy. It's, you know, they're promoting themselves. They're doing what they do. And I'm not mad at that. Like, yeah, do your shit. I just feel like we have to unteach ourselves to want their shit. I feel like we have to teach ourselves to see the beauty in ourselves. We have to teach ourselves again to be creators and stop like wanting what someone tells us to want. Stop wanting what someone tells us to need. Create your own shit. And that's what I'm doing. I'm creating my own line. I have my own line.
Yeah.
Y'all can look it up. Y'all can go on there. You can buy it. But I know that like me walking around telling people I have this, they won't fuck with me. Even if I have my images, even like I'm a black owned whatever business, because they love Gucci. Even after Gucci has made some blackface shit. You know what I'm saying? And put that out there and like did that full on knowing what they were doing.
Like a standing in line to get in the Gucci.
Standing in line.
All niggas in line too.
Yeah. You know, in some areas, of course. You know, and it's like, you know, a lot of these companies may not have done that. But it's clear how they feel when, you know, they do their runway shows and who represents their company. You know? I'm even kind of mad at Virgil for his Off-White line. I'm looking at him on Instagram and so forth.
That shit is like the ugliest shit I've ever seen.
But like aside from what his aesthetics are from his actual brand, like whether you like it or don't like it, I'm like, fuck it, get it, bro. Like, you know, do your hustle, get it. Like if kids want to buy it, sell that shit. Cause there's a lot of ugly things or horrible things that people buy. But I'm pissed off at the fact that it's like every time I look at your commercial, you've got some European motherfucker representing your shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I'm not against white people. I'm not against Europeans and all that. No. But I'm like, you have an opportunity to like further the culture and just have some brothers and sisters on your shit. You can have an Asian woman. You can have a Latino woman. You can have an Asian man. Like, you know, Asian men in America are seen as like, you ain't shit. Like, you got a small dick and you ain't attractive. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, I feel like that's how people see them. But it's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
No more than it's true for all the stigmas that are put on black men or whoever. I'm just like, bro, you have the ability to promote this and show this without giving, you know what I'm saying, without doing the super, like, you know.
So why don't you think he does it then?
He has, I can't speak for him. I won't speak for him, and I can't speak for him. And I don't even want to, like, you know, be like, I think, whatever. He's doing what he wants to do. I mean, he's working for Louis. You know what I mean? Like, he has big reins, and he does amazing things for Louis Vuitton. Like, he had Lauryn Hill. He had Omar singing for one of the the runways and so forth, which was amazing. Like, his shows are dope. I'm happy that
that's every fucking runway has black talent to entertain you, nigga. But what I'm talking about,
they don't. That everyone doesn't. And also with the Louis Vuitton thing, he does have a lot of brothers, and I've seen more black men in that one. I mean, the ones that I've seen that I'm speaking about in Japan, I think they were in Japan. They had Japanese people or Asian people and black people, and you know what? It was a little bit more mixed. But yeah, I hear you. I do agree. Like, yeah, like, you know, everyone utilizes the black sound or this, that, and the other, but he's done it in another kind of way. Like, he has Omar. He has Lauren, and you know, brother, like two people of the culture, you know, that speak for us and represent us in a positive, good way. At least have attempted to. You might not agree with everything they've said and done. Yeah. They've attempted. So I appreciate him for that. But for his own line, what I'm seeing, and I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all open for discussion. But you know, I'm just like, bruh, like, do that. So I just think like I think there needs to be more of us doing us unapologetically, because that's what we do, and doing it on that level, because they're doing what they do unapologetically, you know. And I'm not saying that everything that they do is like hateful or whatever, but I just think that like they're doing what they do, what they feel represents them and their beauty. But we need to like step it up. We can now. We can do it now. Yeah. We have the money. We've been having influence. We have all of that. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it on. Let's invest in ourselves. Like, it's cool. Like, if you want to buy Louis, if you want to buy like all this shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not dissing any of it. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like this new thing that I've been hearing, code, if we're disrespected, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like the new, DJ Vlad thing, like motherfuckers are like, don't fuck with him. I'm like, I'm down. Because like I've been kind of like, what the fuck? Like I've been listening to him shit. Like,
a lot of motherfuckers didn't even know he was white.
I knew.
Yeah, but I'm saying a lot of people didn't.
Because they dumb. They're dumb. And that's the thing. It's like, this might be controversial, maybe not. But I do agree with Kanye in the fact that he might have been saying in the past, I'm saying now, people are slaves. They want to be. They are wanting slaves. They're wanting to be that shit. And all it takes is you to look up who's who. Who's what. It's all, you can look up who owns a house. Who is that? You can, what company owns it, how much they're getting for it, all that shit. It's all public knowledge. So if y'all not doing your due diligence to find out who's doing what, who's saying what, who's about what, who's owning what, you're going to be a victim willingly, because it's all out there. It's cool to look up Cardi B. I do it. I love it. Wow, all that shit. But I also look up other things. And it's our due diligence to do that. And especially us as a people, y'all got to look it up and work with yourselves and work with each other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. We got off on a tangent. What was the question?
I forgot the question. But anyway, I want to hear about, so you told me about it. You had a story about your roommate situation right now.
Oh, the roommate from my first roommate?
No, remember yesterday when I bumped into you? Well, not yesterday.
It was the other day. What was I talking about? I don't remember.
You were saying some shit about your roommate and heroin and all this other shit.
Oh shit! Yeah, that was the first roommate. Yeah, that was the first roommate in Oakland. I mean, bless her heart. I won't even say no names, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm still cool with her, and I love her, and she's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like we all grow as people. But I think we were talking about just, you know, living out here, man. I've yet to have an amazing roommate situation. My first one, homegirl was like, you know, she was recommended to me, and long story short, she was wild. When her son was there in the house, she was cool. She was like, you know, the mother, you know, like chill, all that. But when that fool left, Like it was on. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was wild the fuck out.
She didn't have custody of her son. That's.
I think like he went
weird.
back and forth from the son from the father to the mother. So he went back and forth, which was cool. You know, I'm not hating. It was funny because when I moved there and I met the father, I don't think he wasn't cool with me. So I think it was like a brother thing. Like but I was hella cool. You know what I mean? I was nice. I was, respectable, all that shit. But dude, like, you know how they half shake you.
Yeah.
Dude hella half shook me. He was like, all right. And then, as I got to know the son, he was cool. When we all lived there, you know what I mean? So I had bought him one of those like, handheld, games or whatever. And then, homegirl was like, he's tripping. Like, you buying my son shit, So he tried to one up me, It was like, it was drama. But the shit that set it off, we were having problems up in the household, But the problem was like, one time I was working 2 jobs. I was working at Mua. And I was working this other gig. I can't remember what it was. But I was just tired. And I came home hella late one day. And I heard the music. And I was walking up. And it was behind a church. And I was walking up through the church parking lot. And I seen the cat. And I heard the music. And I had Brooklyn at the time. I didn't have a dog yet. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, I know this shit ain't jumping off. Like, my cat done ran out. You know how that shit is. It's gone. I had this cat for hella years. Flew him out, from Chicago over here. So that was my boy. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah. So anyway, I'm like tripping. I'm like, fuck. I'm like walking in. I walk in from the back. Dude, in the backyard, let me tell you, I had built like a little flower bed and shit. I was trying to grow strawberries and all that shit. My boy Michael Cross, who used to work with me at Mua, he was a DJ too. He's a good DJ. Shout out to Michael Cross. I think it's Michael Cross. It's been years. That fool, he put me on to gardening. You know what I'm saying? So I walked through there. I was like, did they fuck up my flower bed? And I walked through there. It was like a pit of motherfucking PBR cans.
Damn.
A pit of that shit. So I'm thinking like, what the fuck? I'm pissed. So I walk in. It's like all these just everybody from the West Oakland, all these punk rock motherfuckers, and then some, and all the rest of the niggas. You know what I mean? All of them in my crib. Now, if anyone knows me, I'm hella private. So I'm like, I got the whole world in my motherfucking house right now. And I'm like, yo, where's homegirl? First I'm looking for my cat. So I'm looking for my cat and I asked somebody, I was like, yo, you seen a cat? You seen a black cat? You seen my cat? You know what I'm saying? And they told me like, oh, the cat's in like, room. You know what I mean? So I go in the room and I'm looking, I don't see the motherfucker. I look under the bed, everything, and I pull back her closet and he's in there. I'm like, Brooklyn, all right, for sure. So I scoop Brooklyn up and I go back to my room, throw him in my room, close the door, lock him up, woo. So I'm looking for homegirl. So where the fuck is this bitch at? She's like, all these niggas in my shit. So finally I found her. I'm like, yo, what's up? What's going on, yo? You know what I mean? Like, what's up? She was like, I don't know. She's like, I'm feeling good. I was like, yo, what the fuck did you do? I was like, are you drunk? Like, you high, whatever. She was like, yo, I don't know, but for the first time, I smell crack. And I was like, what? And she just took off running. And I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, yo, we finna talk tomorrow. So,
Damn.
Yeah, so that was my first roommate experience. That wasn't the first day, but after that, I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And then I had another, I moved down the street after that. That shit was crazy.
Oh, man.
But yeah, that was that shit. Like,
that's funny.
Yeah, that shit was stupid, yo. So I've had some crazy ass experiences with roommates out in Oakland. Shit been nuts.
All right. Well, this is the point where it's like the promote hour. So you can promote, tell the people where to find you on Instagram, tell the people your website, where they can find you, your music.
Yeah.
Where they can buy product, check for your fashion line, and basically whatever else you want to share with the people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over on Black Daddy Slim. Black Daddy Slim on Instagram. And I'm on Spotify. My music's on Spotify. I'm on Tidal, YouTube, probably Apple Music, all that. You can find my music. You know what I mean? I do everything from hip hop to punk. I got a punk record coming out soon. Blues, just like everything. Like I'm a Renaissance artist. You know what I mean? My music is everything. So if you can stomach that, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like I don't got no box. You know what I'm saying? So just follow me and continue to listen to what I do. But I think like you're going to be satisfied. My clothing brand is a Kerale Boutique, as you heard me mention before, on Etsy. I've been having problems with that link with that thing, but I think it's still working.
Spell it, nigga.
AKERELE Boutique on Etsy. So log on to there. Check me out. I've got this. I don't know if we're on camera or not, but I got this one on here. I got other stuff. I'm about to load up some more product. We're just beginning. So, you know, it's a little bit limited now, but it's coming. And like I said, I got the Lori May line coming out. I don't know how that's going to surface, but follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be talking about it. And I will be showing you where we're coming out with and how to access that. I'm really super stoked about that. I think you all gonna love it. I'm meshing a lot of genres. I'm meshing a lot of culture from it. So just be, follow me. Yeah, be in tune. It's jumping off.
That's it.
That's pretty much it. I got a blackdaddyslim.com. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could jump on that too. I'm on YouTube. All my videos are on there. Yeah, blackdaddyslim.com. It should. I don't know. Like I'm beginning with everything. I'm slow. I'm a growing artist, so I think everything should connect. But if they don't, those are the things that you follow: the Etsy, the Instagram, and the .com. Through those, you'll find me. You know what I'm saying? And just in these streets, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm in Oakland. I'll be in Vegas. I'll be everywhere. Japan. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Yeah, I fuck with Japan hella hard. I love Japan. Vietnam. I'll be over there, can't go nowhere right now, so I'm stuck. But yeah, just holler at me, just get with me. You know what I'm saying? We doing it all. I'm trying to get into furniture as well. I have some furniture ideas, so I'm trying to do that in a bit. So
he's doing everything,
literally everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just watch me grow, nurture it, stay with me, and I'll follow you back and follow you and all that. But also it's like the main thing is about promoting culture, having ownership of culture, having ownership of what we do. And nowadays we don't need to sign on to anybody. You can own your own music. Just come out with it. Put it out how you do. Start creating your own labels. Start creating your own businesses, whatever it is, whether it be food, whether you have an insurance company, you want to do insurance, whether you want to open up you want to start fixing cars, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's up to us to own our own shit. And that in politics as well. I want to say this. I don't know if I have time, whatever.
Hurry up, nigga.
Yeah. Politics. Y'all got to get into politics if you want to stay in America. Teach your kids to get into it because we need to create our own laws. We need to have people to backing up our own laws. Because the thing what happened with Breonna Taylor and all that, I already knew they was going to walk free because the law protects them. But when we have our own people in Congress, in the Senate, running for office, aldermen, all that, mayors, we will be the ones creating those laws. We will be the ones rewriting those laws. So we got to do the due diligence. Marching, all that shit is great. It's cool. But we got to do the due diligence and get up where we need to be to create the true change that we need. Now, I ain't a pro-vote motherfucker. Like, y'all do it how you do. But you want to do some real change, get your kids, bring them up to get up into politics and all that if you want to stay in America. Or do what we gotta do to get back wherever other country or state we want to be at and work that out. That's what's up. Peace.
All right. Well, you heard it. You heard it first from Fu. Okay. What?
Black Daddy Slim.
Okay. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I refuse to say that.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared to say it. Don't be black men, brothers and sisters. Don't be scared to big up other people. Don't be scared to big up other brothers and give them their props and call them daddy and fathers, because we all baba. You know what I'm saying? We all mother. So don't be scared for that. It's not taken away from your own father. It's not taken away from your own mother. It's not taken away from your own sister. But it's definitely bigging up the next brother and definitely bigging up the next sister and giving them power. So it's okay to call me Black Daddy Slim. I'm not trying to take your daddy or nothing, but I'm a father to this shit. And maybe next conversation we'll explain what Black Daddy Slim means when I'm asked the question.
Well, big up to Fu.
Yes, sir.
We already know where the name came from, nigga. It's a porn name. So we could talk about your porn career.
I done did that shit too.
In another episode.
Yeah, another episode I didn't do that shit.
But
I did that too. Yeah, that's another conversation.
But yeah, Everyday Celebrity Media, we are looking for creators, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can hit me up on Instagram, Everyday Celebrity Media CO, Twitter, Everyday Celebrity PO, Instagram, personal Instagram, Jordan Awandi, DM me. Yeah,
you should
what?
Spell out your last name.
Nigga, they already know my shit already.
Oh, okay.
And I tagged the shit. So I don't even feel like spelling that.
I had to spell out mine, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, well, you're the guest. This shit is about you, not me. But anyway, we look at Everyday Celebrity Media. I mean, we looking for creators. This is a black-owned, 100% black-owned. All money put in is coming out of my pocket, so I don't answer to no one. That's why it's 100% black-owned.
Subscribing and give this brother money so he can keep doing what he's doing. For all y'all talking about Black Lives Matter, Black Pockets matter too. So we can keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah,
Send this brother money.
That. Yeah, I do have a GoFundMe.
Get it. Tell him about it.
GoFundMe. Just type in Everyday Celebrity Podcast. Shoot me $5 or $10 if you have it.
Shoot him 5,000 and 5 million. Fuck $5. Y'all got money out here. Shoot him 5 mil. And shoot me a few 5 mil too while you at it. Straight up. Talking little. We ain't talking little over here. We talking big money.
All right.
Hey, Con, where you at? Shoot me about 5 mil, son. Let's get it.
This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast. And we are out. Ew.